whatsoever. And so now
Okay, now
they
we're
do
going
because of me.
live on Facebook, so everybody can see and hear us now, guys.
Go.
Oh, pretty.
You can do them either way.
Yeah,
So you can wear
I like them like that.
See, and I like them like that. See, so they're
Then we make a good
interchangeable.
team.
With Tia, Hannah, and Paige.
So where did you get those little candies? They're really good.
The ginger?
There is one thing I would like to announce. We got our date for the state fair. It is August 31st. So I'm gonna try and do signups at the next meeting, but I'm gonna be out of town,
Got
so
it
I'm not
again?
sure how my internet connection will be.
We are trying very hard. It'll stabilize here. One moment. All of you, thank you very much for joining us today. We are so darn excited to have everybody here with us at Let's Bead Live with the Upper Midwest Bead Society. I'm Rochelle from Bobby Bead. Hi. And with me today, I have in person, we've got Tia Pearson from Goody Beads. And if you want to wave to everybody.
Hi guys.
She's with us here. See, hi, we're in the studio and Shelly's over there off screen. She's being our technical helper advisor as well. So, and then Hannah Rosner is with us too. She doesn't have her face on the screen, otherwise I would spotlight her, but she's getting, oh, there she is. There's her board here. Look, oh my gosh. Hannah is second with her beautiful, I know, it's a wonderful hydrangea pendant, and then I'm going third. So we just want you all to hang around with us all afternoon because it's raining outside and cloudy, at least in Minneapolis it is. And so hopefully all of you people all over the world can just, you know, hang out and bead with us. So our first, Becky, you had a state fair announcement for us?
Okay, we finally got our date for the state fair. It's August 31st. I'm gonna try and do signups at the next meeting, but I'm gonna be out of town, so I don't know how my internet connection will be. Otherwise, I'll have Barb send it out to the membership for signups.
And how many people are you looking to volunteer at the state fair for the Bead Society Day? 3 people per session, 4 people per session?
And 4 sessions.
Okay, so that's 12 people for the day.
Yep. And I'll be one of them at all 3 sessions, so
maybe they'll give you a lunch break, so you.
oh yeah.
I mean,
but we have not had anyone submit yet for the Beads Connect Us. We need pieces submitted, please.
well, we got 2 months still, right? When is the date for that? Because I think people were beading rocks with us for.
Right. I don't have it handy at my fingertips, but it's in the end of July.
Okay, so we got about 2 months still to create our design for
Yep.
the Connect Us. And then we're also going to share the rocks as well. So if you're still beading a sunflower rock, I have just received in the mail
Whoa,
Rosner's new sunflower rock.
that's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Thank you.
So beautiful, 3-dimensional, and like it's just amazing. All these wonderful.
Whose is that, Rochelle?
This one is Hannah Rosner.
Oh, thank you, Hannah.
Thank
Hannah,
you very
How long did it
much.
take you to beat that?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is how long?
What's that? It took me Well, I got really inspired. And so I started at about 9 a.m. one morning and finished at 4 a.m. the next day. And then I went to bed and slept the whole next day.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
funny.
Wow.
Very, very exciting. And so then I had, where did it go? Where did it go? And so then also Chris, Bess also made a rock and submitted it. It's this incredible,
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
it's a mixture of beads, and then she's strung on all the little pearls with wire and stuff. So it's embellished it, and the leaves, and then the whole back of it is kind of a simple netting capture. It's a wonderful
Cool.
star.
Oh,
on the
wow.
back. And so, yeah, you can make your wonderful rocks any way you like, and we will share them in our
Beautiful.
installations all summer long, and then we'll find a wonderful permanent home for them too. So if you just want to donate the rock for the art project or for the permanent installation, then we'll take either one.
it's like,
Something I would do.
I have a,
So then, hey Hannah, so then next, before we start class, would you like to tell everybody about our June membership meeting? We have a special new guest for our June, is it 6th, 7th?
Let me go look up the date, but we have Perry Bookstein, who was the CEO and owner of York Beads. York Beads was one of the oldest importers of Czech glass and preciosa from New York City, and he did wholesale only. And he will be speaking to us in June about how growing up in the business, because it was started by his grandfather and ran 85 or 89 years. And so he sort of took over the business, and then he had time and the energy to go ahead and design specific shapes that you might find really familiar, and also some really lovely finishes. So he's going to talk about all that.
So being an innovator in the bead industry. So we're trying to really enjoy everything we can about beads, and find out more we can, and get all the interesting people we can together to tell us all their great knowledge before it gets lost.
Right. And he knows more. He has forgotten more about beads than I'll ever know.
Exactly.
was the Toho shop in New York City? his?
Yes, in
I
the garment
bet.
district.
No, not the Toho shop in New York City. He owned York Beads.
Was in.
York Beads.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
they
he
sold
owned York Beads.
beads, they sold
I've
beads,
been
sold,
there.
mhm,
I've been there years and years ago.
a world of seed beads.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, and beautiful Czech glass. It's on the 6th,
yep.
Monday
Monday,
the 6th.
so that's our member meeting. So if you're a member, put the 6th Monday night on your calendar at 6 p.m. Central Time. Otherwise, you can become a member and join us for all of our private meetings as well as our Saturday classes. So we are going to now start with our special guest, Tia Pearson.
Yay!
Yay! She's from Goody Beads.
Yay!
And let me just get, wrong camera. I just did it right, and now I did it wrong again. Thanks for all your patience. I'm not a big techie. So let's spotlight for everyone. And we're so darn excited. Thank you, Tia.
Oh, it's fun to be here. This is my first project that I have designed for Goody, and Jackie loved it. So, and I was very excited because Lynn, who used to own Goody Beads, actually, when they launched, told Jackie that she thought they were fantastic. I was like, I was very excited.
Yay, so
So-
then all this kit and the project is available at goodybeads.com?
Yep, and I believe Maggie had links to everything on the event. I checked them to make sure they're good. And I also brought a coupon for you guys for Goody today. It is Tassel 30 and it will save you 30% off of anything at Goody through 11:59 on Monday night.
Woohoo.
So these are the peach sorbet tassel interchangeable earring kit.
Awesome.
They are adorable.
Fantastic.
They I fell in love with this little tassel. I thought he was so happy for summer because my favorite one that we have this tassel in probably about 15 other colors. And then if you don't like my color combos, we also have all of the Chinese crystals in this size. We probably have a good 10 other colors that you could use as well.
Your colors inspired my outfit today.
Oh my
So I just wanted to tell you that. So when I got dressed, your thing, I was just all about matching it.
Nice. I love it. So these little guys are super fun because you can wear them with the tassel. Or if you want to be a little tamer, you can also do them without the tassel.
Oh, wow, convertibles.
So I thought they're the first convertible that Goody did, and now we're starting to do some more, which is really fun. So I had a blast making them. I am one of those people that absolutely loves to wire wrap. I know that it's a little intimidating for some, but I will say that wire wrapping is not hard. It's just time consuming. For this project, I highly recommend, you don't have to, but I did bead the tassel. And the reason that I beaded the tassel was because when you wear them, the little tassel pieces will move. So if you bead your ring, they can't move.
Makes sense.
So this is a pretty simple pattern. You're going to use your champagne crystals and the peach crystals and just alternate. If you wanted to make it solid, you could as well. And you're going to have 5 wire wraps in between each crystal. So it's just a pretty repetitive pattern. I already started, you're going to start at one side of the tassel. And I already started with the dark peach. So now I'm going to pick up a champagne. Come on, little fella. He does not want to go down there at all. There we go. So then once you get him down there, just going to go ahead and pull around and make 5 wire wraps, pulling them nice and snug. And you don't have to worry about how pretty they are in the beginning because you can always zhuzh them. And the thinner your wire, zhuzh, yes,
I
very
do.
technical.
It starts with a G or a CH or what?
Or a ZH.
Or a ZH. There you go.
Once you get your 5 wire wraps, you can snug them up so they're pretty. A fun fact about wire wrapping, when you start out, if you use a thinner wire until you get your technique, it's much easier to get pretty wire wraps with a smaller gauge of wire. When you get better at it, you can use the 20 gauge and 18 gauge and 24 gauge, but they're a little more persnickety.
What gauge are you using? Did you say?
28.
28.
But I think it looks so delicate when it's the 28
Yeah.
as well. So it looks more like real chain or something, you know? So sometimes the big heavy wire looks a little bulky. Depends on what you're making with these beautiful Chinese, they're Chinese crystals. They're like 1x2s. They're faceted and so sparkly.
They're so sparkly. I've been trying to get Jackie to find out if we can get them in a bigger size because there's such beautiful colors that we have. But when you're old like me, it's kind of hard to find these holes.
I might challenge you on the old piece.
Let's see, I think you're the youngest one in the room. But that's okay. There's no judgment in age, as long as there's also no judgment in beating. The whole point is wear thicker bifocals then. Right.
I just got the Jewel School has this fantastic visor that has 5 sets of magnification and it lights up.
I have that.
I love
Did you
it.
get the new one? Because it has
No, mine's ancient.
the new one's so cool because it has a knob on the back to adjust the headband so it fits.
Yeah, mine was.
Mm-hmm. I bought mine for me and mom stole it.
Oh, of course.
So the next time it comes in, I have to buy another one. But when I made the earrings last night that I was wearing, it made such a huge difference. I was like, oh, they really do have holes in them.
Actually use it sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit of lighting and some glasses, and there you go.
So you're just going to continue with your pattern until you make it to the other side of your tassel, because you want it to be wrapped all the way across to hold your tassel strings in place.
So how many beads are you
5.
ultimately putting on there?
5.
Okay.
So is Nanita here today? I saw her at,
I don't see her on yet. No.
I saw her at the Bead Bazaar.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
saw her for a moment there too. And
I've
it
actually,
was so nice at the bazaar to catch everybody. Did everybody else? I'm not sure who else went to the bazaar that was here. I know I saw Becky. She was running the booth. Joyce, where do you live? Or Carla, are you nearby? I can't remember.
I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida. It's like in the Tampa Bay area.
Okay, so yeah, that would have been a little far to come for the bead bazaar. Do you have any local like bead bazaars or bead events in your area?
Well, we're getting in August, the big Central Florida bead retreat is a blast. And people come from all over for that. And there haven't been so many bead shows around here lately. But there's a few bead stores. One of our best bead stores, though, just shut down. Boo.
aw,
Laura's beads, but she's going to do a lot of designing. You'll see her on the big chat groups.
What was that? The Central Florida what? I'm sending it.
Central Florida.
Bead Society or Bead Retreat, I guess they're calling it. Central Florida Bead Retreat.
And
Actually,
then-
let me look it up. I'll send you a link.
Perfect, because yeah,
We have
or type it
another,
in the chat, would you? So that way people can check it out.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I know there's at least one other Florida person down there.
Oh, yeah.
She just texted me that she's going on a bike ride and she'll be on when she gets there. And that,
righty. So now you have the whole little ring beaded. You're just going to go ahead and trim your wire as close as you can. And then just fold it over because you don't want to poke anybody. And do the same on the other side. Ta-da!
cute.
Oh, it's slightly off screen.
Oh,
There you go. Perfect.
cuter.
Cuter.
So cute.
Oh, you can see it.
And we're basically going to do the same thing. These are amazing. These are new elongated ear wires. We got them in probably about 3 months ago now, and they're super fun. And they work really well to do drops. Like if you wrap your gemstones or anything like that. I made a set where I made these all crystal, and then I did drops that were dropped off of it as well that were very pretty.
How many different colors do they come in? Metals.
Just gold and silver right now.
Okay.
Do you know what the metal is?
I do not. They are
Here,
plated.
let's look, it's on the
plated? Okay.
instructions. It says here, let's screen share
Non-tarnished, no.
our instructions so that everybody can see what we've got going on
It's not on
here.
there.
It says 14 karat gold plated elongated ear wire. So yeah, this is the supply list from the Goody Beads website. When you go to the DIY section, they have all the different projects and everything is all right there. So the pattern, the supply, add everything to your cart at once or pick. I had to add some more tassels because 2 just weren't enough. Well, you know, Juliet's gonna want some, so I did. So yeah, so those are gold plated. It says 14 karat gold.
I
And-
like those.
That is the cool part about the DIY projects, because we sell kits as well, which have everything in them. So you buy the whole kit. But I mean, I have head pins, so I don't always need, and I also make my own head pins out of wire. So I don't ever need the head pins really for the kits. And so we came up with the idea to do the DIYs because you could go ahead and put the whole DIY in your cart, or you could just pick the components from it. And then you can also just download the instructions if you have things and you want to try your own spin on it and don't need anything. It's free to download the instructions as well. There's a link that you can just go ahead and download the instructions.
That's super great. Yeah, and I didn't know the tassels came in so many colors. That's why I was waiting to check out in my cart until Monday because I'm like, well, but then matching the wire to your ear wire, I didn't have the brass wire at home either. I've got copper, I've got all these other things. So that gold brass wire looks so great with those champagne-y tones and orange and
I have the wire, but I don't have the
So
rest.
there's different colors of those tassels on the website.
Oh, yes.
how many?
I want to say there's like 10 different colors and they come in gold or silver. So
Okay.
all the tassels come in gold or silver. So if you wanted to make a silver set, like I'm not much of a gold person, and even this little tassel comes with silver hardware.
Because it's pre-made, the ring and the tassels are all attached.
Yes.
Perfect. So then you're embellishing it to death. I love it. Any way you want.
It has to be, for me, it has to be more sparkly.
Well, why not? We need more sparkle in our world.
We do.
You're gonna need to cut, I say roughly about 8 inches to wrap the rest of the earring. You're gonna have some left over, but I would rather have more than I need than not enough. And you're gonna want to start for this ear wire, you're gonna want to start at the ball and you're going to do 5 wraps.
Are you still using 28 gauge?
Yep.
Thank you.
And until you make it about halfway, it's a little putsy when you're wrapping because you have to come through the middle. But then once you make it around this bend, then it goes really fast. So do you have any fun new projects you're working on, Rochelle?
Well, I keep evolving all the projects. So the project we're doing today, I kind of was like, well, gosh, this would make such a great ring, wouldn't it? And since we're making the peace rings, I'm kind of all about rings as well. And so I kind of just really love how you can adapt things. And they, I don't know, but there's more over there. And then Hannah's today, I'm really excited to work with Hannah's pattern because it really looks like the flowers in our garden. And I know it's a flat back, but if that prong in the middle is exactly a half a crescent, right? So if you used a crescent instead of a prong, maybe there would be a base. I could turn it upright and that would be then the base of my stick. So then I could make a whole flower bouquet of your hydrangeas, Hannah. So that's part of my, I just love like, okay, well.
I love that idea.
What else can I do, right? And because I want to bring my flowers everywhere, right? And so having a beaded hydrangea bouquet. So that's where it's just like, what more can we have fun? You know, because I can't wear all the jewelry every day. I don't have enough body space. I don't have enough jean jackets to put them on. So, but you can add flowers to your whole world, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I need some on my desk at work.
Exactly. So that's what I kind of figured, and my mom needed some. So, and I just love doing that concept. Lisa Dooley started us on this last week when she was using all those symbols components that have the extra hole and the extra loop, all the beadable symbols, and she was beading it in, and then it had the extra loop to go on the second layer.
Mhm.
So then you could embellish the second layer with everything, and just like a quadratile or a multiple hole bead, you now have a second layer to embellish, add your sparkles, right?
How cool.
So this is my technique now that I'm like going, well, if it's now a crescent, but I brought prongs, so if anybody wanted to do it in the prong or the crescent, we're gonna just have so much fun here this afternoon. That's what it's all about, right?
It's so fun to learn new things. And I think it's so fun to take things that and use them in different ways.
Yeah,
Jackie and
challenge your imagination and challenge the beads. What can the beads do to catch up with your imagination?
Heidi and Jackie at Goody say that I always think outside the box. And it's really kind of fun to design because we get new things and Jackie and Heidi will be like, here, what would you do with that?
Oh, I was in heaven.
It's a lot of fun. It really
I
is.
need a new job.
I know. See, what a great job, right?
Well, that just sounds like too much fun.
Well, and it's so funny because I say that everything happens for a reason. And I had worked for the Hennepin Theater Trust for 10 years. And then COVID hit. And because they are a theater, I no longer had a job. And I was very, very sad. And I take care of my 75-year-old mom. And with the pandemic, I couldn't really be a bartender anymore. And so I asked Rochelle if they needed any help filling their orders. And she said, no, but you should reach out to Jackie at Goody Beads. And lo and behold, that's how it all started. I started as an IC with Jackie taking things home and bagging and tagging, and then kind of evolved from there.
Cool.
Which is really cool because now I'm getting to do really cool things like Maggie and I are collaborating on some things. I'm making some pendants for her kumi and all kinds of fun stuff.
I'm just playing with color.
So you're just going to keep repeating the pattern and doing your 5 loops in between. And like I said, once you make it to this point, it's a lot easier because you can just come around. You don't have to go through the middle.
Ooh,
Those are pretty colors.
those are pretty colors.
I know.
I'm playing with
They're part of
colors in the
challenge colors too. Those two there.
This one?
Yeah. Isn't that the iris brown?
Yeah,
And then that's the Suede Gold Cloud Dream.
I don't have this color.
Well, now you can use it and make a hydrangea in challenge colors.
Okay.
Okay, kids, what is this challenge?
The Toho challenge.
Toho
Some
challenge.
of us work during the time you guys have meetings. I don't get done in time to do the
Well, you were
meetings.
so busy at the other side of the bead bazaar, you didn't
Yeah,
get
you
over
didn't.
to the booth to see the designs for the Toho challenge.
Oh,
No, I was by myself at the goodie booth.
I know. That's the part of working the shows is you don't get out to shop much at the show.
No,
No, that was a good thing for me.
Right.
Yeah, but then you don't spend as much money either.
That's why it was a good thing for me.
Oh, no, so
I
you s-
managed to spend plenty.
I was gonna say, I managed to spend plenty because there was this wonderful woman, her name is Crystal, and she had all kinds of really cool resin stuff, which I am a resin artist, so I'm always a sucker for resin stuff. And then Schoolhouse Arts, I love her blown glass, so she let me every time I could run to the restroom. She's like, just grab the ones you like and we'll settle up at the end. I was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
I made, well, Rochelle, you did too. I made a glass flower bouquet. from
Oh,
the-
yes, I did. I've got, from, oh, no, I just forgot her name. Oh my
Laura
God.
Laura? Is that who it was?
from Schoolhouse Arts.
No,
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 No, right across from
right
me.
across from the,
Oh my gosh, I'm the worst at names.
Boy, I sure love those ear wires.
I do too. They're so adorable. And they're like, what, an inch? An
Yeah.
inch and a quarter?
hmm
So they're not too big, but yet they're substantial that you can really deck them out and get a big presence.
I did a pair where I used black spinel, 4mm black spinel, 3mm black spinel lanterns, and then I also used some very terahertz is an extremely sparkly silver. It's a new metal that this lovely man in Japan just created,
ooh,
and it's gorgeous. And I did a pair like this with that, and they turned out so pretty. I have a version, there's another version of this where I beaded jump rings and made 3 jump rings that hang off.
that would be pretty.
Yeah, I should have linked that one as well.
And you could hang a lot of things off of it besides the tassels also.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. My imagination is just going nutty watching her do this.
Mine is too. I'm just sitting here going, can I touch?
I know. Well, it's just like, well, that's why I wait till tomorrow to finish shopping. When I actually can, make up my mind, right? Oh my gosh.
We're almost done with this
I
one.
think I'm gonna make 2 of those. I like that turquoise blue with silver.
Oh,
That'd be pretty.
Plus, I would do like these pastel ones, and I have some really colorful shirts that they will go perfect with. Cool.
And if you look on the website, I believe they are the rainbow. I want to say rainbow interchangeable is the kit that or the project that has, I did 3 jump rings and I beaded them. You could wear them, you can wear them 3 different ways. And then I made drops for Jackie, and she loves those too. Goody carries, we got a whole bunch of these cute little faceted drops in different gemstones, and they're so pretty and they're perfect for this as well.
If you're gonna do this 2-sided, it would take 24.
well, no, I just thought that if you did either every other prong or every one a crescent set, I don't know, we're gonna find out. We have to finish one class first. You're just impatient over there.
I'm just playing with colors.
Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Talk about crafting ADD. Finish one project.
Do you guys actually finish one before you start another one? I
Oh, you're so funny.
I was gonna say,
maybe one, but if it's a pair of earrings.
Oh, then
and
yeah, then I
you
do.
know, I don't know, let's take a poll. Who out there finishes all their projects before they start another one?
Uh, not usually.
So it's not just us, okay.
okay, that's good. We usually have at least 4 or 5 on the burner at a time.
Yeah.
So there you
Well,
go.
I don't know. I think I'm more up to about 10.
Well, plus the knitting projects.
Right, I mean, well, so, okay, we're just speaking beading here then.
That is
We're not-
beautiful. That's
They're
so fun.
so
And
cool.
super easy.
And they work up really fast. So you're going just up to the top because that's right where your ear.
Where your ear is gonna
would
go in.
then go. So
Mhm.
you want the whole curve. So right at the top
Mhm.
base of where the arch begins.
Mhm.
Okay. That is so adorable.
It's off screen.
Oops,
Move it so in front of the camera, please.
I think it's gotta go
Backwards.
backwards.
Doop, 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 doop.
Backwards. There we go. Backwards.
So this is the
sorry.
one that we just did. And it's, once you get doing them, you can reproduce them super fast.
And so does the tassel ever come off while they're hanging, or does because the gravity and the weight? it
The
holds it
gravity and the
down?
weight, and this is actually long enough that it's not, if it were shorter, maybe, but it's long enough and it does have the ball too. And
Oh,
you
right.
also have you have the beads as well.
All the little wire
Wire.
and all the little notchy beads. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna come off.
It holds them in there. And so, my gosh.
That was too fast and so cool.
I mean, yeah.
Like
it's just
finishable.
right. You could finish these in an afternoon and make a pair for your mom or your best friend who's gonna want one the moment they see them.
Mhm.
Because on the strand, like when you order it on the thing, you get that whole strand of beads, right?
Yeah,
So I'll put it a little bit back further so they can see it. Oh my gosh, so that's the strand of beads when you're on the website, on the DIY kit thing. So that's enough to beads to make several.
I would say you could probably make,
And it's like
Four pair.
$2.99 for the strand of beads, right?
yeah,
I mean, and then you get 30% off. Seriously. It's like, yeah, I mean, and that champagne is so beautiful.
it's such a pretty color.
And it's so sparkly.
It
It's so
is.
sparkly.
That's why I want Jackie to get, I want 4s or 3s and 4s and 6s.
So this is a 1.5 to 2 or something?
Mhm.
Wow.
And they're rondelles, and
Okay.
they're just the perfect little sparkle.
You know, I bet that would work also for Diane Fitzgerald's sunflower pattern that we were looking at, Becky, that she was I don't know if anybody, she was at our beading basics. It's a sunflower pattern, and she was using those true twos for little rondelles that
Oh,
nobody can
yes.
find no more.
Yes.
And that is that same size because she was stacking them up in the center of the sunflower.
Oh,
And
cute.
then exactly, and then they're all on the edge, and then the little 15s went right next to it.
That would work well.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think it would, because we were talking, we couldn't find the true twos no more.
And they come in so many pretty colors because they come in like, there's like a light aqua, there's a little darker of a, like almost a periwinkle. The black rainbow that I did the other set in is got like a little bit, it comes in either gold or silver, and it has a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue. It's very iridescent. There's a couple that are really, really iridescent that have like purples and blues in them. There's
So-
the peach and the champagne.
Because that's what you used here, right? Is the peach and the champagne.
Mhm. There's a pale yellow one, there's a black one, and then there's just an AB crystal one too.
And when you go to the website, where if you're not in, like, you want to find the other colors, I know the peach and the champagne was in the DIY section that I was in, but if you just want those beads, where would you click on yours? It in?
I would just look at the crystals.
Okay.
I usually just go ahead and search the size that I want. So I do one, or you could do 2, if you did 1x5 rondelles, those would pop up as well.
And so there's several ways. Yeah, your new site is so easy to work. It's just,
It is a work in progress. David is amazing. He's our Shopify guy. He has made it so much easier to find things. We're still working on our filters, but they're getting so much better. It's really nice to have someone who understands the program really well.
well, I instantly got sucked in. So I was 20 minutes later, I'm like, okay, well, that was a beautiful lunch break, you know, and it's
I'm still hungry, but
but it's okay. I'm well satisfied, right? So that's all right. It gets you through the day.
I keep
So.
asking my landlord if I can pay him in gemstones, and he says no.
I got paid in fish yesterday.
Oh my gosh,
Hey,
so wonderful. That's
That
so great.
works.
I
That
know.
totally works.
So
Ooh.
cool.
That's always nice.
Got salmon.
Hopefully they cleaned, it was all cleaned and ready
Oh
to
my
go.
gosh, it was frozen. It was
Perfect.
boned. It was, yeah. I just laughed.
Oh my gosh. Does everybody else like to barter as well? I think it's the best. I'll trade plants for anything, or bees for plants or food. So, oh my gosh, this has been so much fun, like super easy. I just want to go and make them now.
See, wire's not so hard.
No, it's not. So don't be afraid of wire, everybody.
I'm just really liking those ear wires.
Yeah, the ear wires are really great. And they're a 21 gauge, or what gauge do you think they are?
That's like about a 20.
About a 20.
Okay, so they're nice, substantial. They will hold up well. They're not going to bend and
Oh,
tweak
no,
while
they're-
you're doing all that fun
No,
stuff.
they're really sturdy.
How do
Nice.
they work with curly hair?
Fine.
Asking for a friend, maybe.
They work fine for curly hair because I
It
have.
doesn't get caught.
I
Mm-mm.
love it.
Okay.
That's super wonderful.
I have to think about my audience.
Right, exactly. So we're just so darn excited, and with Tia being the art director, or what's your title now?
I am customer service.
There we go. I love it.
Customer service, and we're all starting to, it's really fun because Jeff and Jackie are letting all of us design. We have several of us that have made things, and they're going to be new DIY projects, which is super, super fun. And it's great to have that opportunity. And it's just been really, really fun.
I love it.
Talk about being a kid in a candy store.
Absolutely. There you go. Super. So, well, thank you so much, Tia. Here we go. Let's just, it's wonderful. So you can wave at the camera over there. That one.
That one, this one, the camera somewhere.
Stick your head way underneath.
I tell ya, that's the way it is. And so, and next we have, if anybody have any questions for Tia?
I hear silence.
I
Unless
do
I
hear
do.
silence.
Unless
That
somebody's
must mean you
typing.
covered everything, and then the rest of the chatter covered the rest.
Fabulous.
And so obviously we have Hannah Rosner, and you can see that she has adorable goats that need to have some meds. And
Be right back.
Be right back.
Gotta give some meds to the goats.
Fabulous.
It's just so adorable. I'm very excited for her. I don't know if you've watched her on Facebook, but that's where you can see all the wonderful videos of her goats and her dogs.
Aw,
They are so cute, especially Mondays, Maddie Monday. What is her dog's name is Maddie. And but the goats have really become a absolute joy to watch. They just have such great personalities.
they
Sorry
are-
about that, guys.
No worries, darling. We were talking about how joyful they are to watch your videos on Facebook. And so I was trying to get everybody to
Are you gonna
see your
stay?
Maddie Mondays and your goats.
I need to grab my phone.
I love the goats. They're really sweet, but my favorite of the two is Willie, and he's got pink eye right now.
Is this your charger?
Oh, and there's the dog. There's always something around here. So anyway, I guess I'm up, right?
You are, if you're ready, if you want.
Well, let me just throw the link into the chat for the download for anybody, and then we'll get going, and maybe I'll try to get the dog to stop barking. There's the link in the Facebook, and there it is. There's the link to the pendant for anybody who wants it. Tia, those earrings are gorgeous. Thanks so much for showing them to us.
Thank you.
Okay, and actually, I think we've got a few people. I know Joanne is planning on joining us, and possibly my friend Bernie. So maybe we should wait for a few minutes before we get started, because I know that they are going to want to join us. So anyway, what I'm going to be doing today, though, is I'm going to be doing this little guy, and he's just a lovely little pendant, but you could also make earrings you can see out of that. I've got this guy all over some hats and purses, so maybe I'll take a moment and go up and find those, and I'll show those to you guys while we wait. And
I'm here, Hannah.
oh, you're there? Okay. Thank you very much, Joanne. Let me see whether or not, I know that Bernie was planning on joining us too, though. So give me just a second to grab my hat and my purse, which I forgot about, and then I'll get going, whether or not she's here. Okay?
Super duper. We're so darn excited to have some really fun things going on. And I can show you, here we go, screen share. Nope, where'd it go? Not that one. Not that one. Oh, that one. I had Hannah's pattern here. Well, I take it back.
I thought you did.
I did. It accidentally got closed.
No.
Oh my gosh. I love this hydrangea.
Here's more center colors. Oh,
And so let's see what else. So if anybody else has, let's see, we are doing all kinds of Let's Bead Live throughout the summer. So we just want to welcome everybody that's joining us all summer long. Please set your Saturday calendar and take a break from it all, and we're gonna have many, many fun things going. We even want to have, Hannah and I were talking about it, a project day. So if you have like the projects you're stuck on, this is how far I got with my project, and I need advice from everybody. So let's bring your project, and that way you can get advice from everybody and go, what do you think? Where did I go wrong? How did I do this? And so I think, what do you guys think of that kind of fun Saturday project?
I think they need to get Saturdays
Thumbs
off.
up, I tell ya. So, because we all have issues and I bring it and I'm like, well, where did I go? What am I doing? So I can't be the only one. There she is. I see her. Okay.
That's why I have Rochelle.
Great. Can you, Rochelle, can you pin the other camera for me so I can show folks where I've used these hydrangeas on a couple of projects?
Okay, so let's see. I've got your hat pinned.
That's exactly which one I want pinned right now. Thank you.
Got your hat pinned. Here, let me take off your thing so now your hat's bigger. There you go.
Perfect. So you can see probably on this hat, this was my my Toho challenge from a couple of years ago. You can see that I've used the hydrangea pendant here. Can you see that?
Yeah, I think that's.
And then
Beautiful.
and then I've used part of one back here. Whoopsie. That's right. There. I ran out of petals, so that's why it's only a partial hydrangea. And then I've used it on this purse. Can you see two of them there?
Oh, yeah. They look-
And one of them on this side. Right there. So I love to use these as components as well as for finished earrings or pendants. I use them in larger pieces. And I think we'll get going then.
This is the prong. So if you want to follow the real pattern, that's the prong. If you want
Right.
the crescent as an experiment, you're more than welcome. But I can't guarantee my experiment. So I
Right.
would follow Hannah's recipe.
Okay. 'Cause
So can you go ahead and repin? Oh, it looks like you did. You already have pinned my my workspace, right?
Yeah, and so do you want both your workspace,
No,
and your face?
no,
or your
no,
workspace?
just the workspace, please,
Perfect.
so that's the biggest.
You got it, girl.
Great. Thank you so much. So I generally like Fireline, but today I'm using 1G because I've run out of Fireline and I've got tons of it. And I've got all of my pieces here. What I've got is I've got 1 2-hole cabochon. There it is. And a couple of prongs, which if you use a crescent, see how the back on this is flat. I think if you use crescents, you're not going to have that flat back. Instead, it'll curve around and over. And perhaps you could put another couple of layers of petals back there. So I've got prongs. I've got 8 prongs, 1 cabochon, and each one of these uses 8 petals. Whoops, my bad. But since I only have 7 of these, I'm using leftover project pieces, so it's kind of a whole amalgamation of colors. I've decided that I'm actually going to go ahead. This is not in the instructions, using a little pendant top like that. Instead, usually I just make a loop of beads, but since I had some of these, I ended up adding it to this, but I'll actually be putting it down inside instead of my 8th little ginkgo. So I've got 8 ginkgos for the first layer and usually 8 ginkgos for the second layer, but since I've only got 7 left over of that color, I'm going to use it. You only need a very few of each of the sizes of beads. These are size 15s, 11s, and 8s. Okay, so let's get going. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start by breaking a whole bunch of rules. And what I mean by that is I'm just going to go around the outside of this. Whoops, sorry about that. I wasn't under the camera. I'm going to go around the outside of that 2-hole cabochon and just tie a knot. And that whole thing's going to be covered up with other stuff. So we're just not going to worry about it, even though right now you can see the thread. Am I coming through okay to everybody? Yeah, okay.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to go through again. So I'm coming out and that kind of pulls the little knot to the center there. Sorry about that. I keep on doing that where I'm pulling it out of the screen. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 1 size 11, 1 prong, but I've got to pick the prong up so that when I thread it, it goes over the top of the bead of the 2-hole cabochon. So I'm going to pick it up and make sure it curves over the top. If you're picking up a crescent, you want to make sure that it curves around it, Rochelle. Okay, I'm going to pick up another 11. Why do these beads keep on getting so much smaller? Another of the little prongs and a third of the size 11s. And remember, you want to make sure that when you go through and you're going through those same holes, you want to make sure that once you pull it tight, those crescents or those prongs curve over the top. That's the thing about the shaped beads, is that they are all shaped and they're all pointing specific ways. So you need to sort of fuss with them to make sure they do what you want them to. So if yours are not pointed over the top and curving over the top, then you want to rethread those. Okay. So there's the first step. For the second step, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a prong, a size 11 and a prong. So I'm going to add that prong and make sure that I've added it so that when I pull it tight, it curves over the top. A size 11. And another prong. And once again, you want to make sure that prong goes up over the top when you pull it tight. Okay, I'm going to go through the next hole. There it is. There it is. Make sure they all curve. See what's going on there? So now we're going to do this side. And we're going to go, so we're doing the side across from the very first side. So I'm going to call this 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do 3 here. I'm going to pick up a size 11. There it is. A prong. A size 11. A prong. And a size 11. And we're going to go down through that hole we just came out of. Pull it tight. Make sure they all curve over the top. See, this one's upside down, so I just have to flip it over. There it is. There we go. Oh, that one flipped over too. That's okay. When we tighten it, it'll be fine. So just make sure that everything's fine. And then we're going to do the fourth and final side. We're going to pick up a prong, a size 11 and a prong. There it is. And we're going to go up through that last hole. Now, in order to tighten these and keep them from flipping around so that the back is up and the top is down and it's all flipped over, I like to go around all of those beads again. So I'm just going to go through every single bead in that circle I added, not through the 2-hole cabochons, but just through the prongs and the size 11s. And if I go around those and tighten that up, then it'll keep those prongs from flipping around and going upside down. Oops. Just a few more here. So there it is. You're a third of the way done. How about that? All right, if you happen to be following along in the directions, right now you're on step 5 at the bottom of page 4, just in case. Am I off screen here? No, there it is. All righty. We've got a weird lag on Facebook going on. I don't know if it's just because I've got all of my screens up right now, but you guys on Facebook are not on Facebook, on Zoom are following along okay, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, everything's going well. And yep, we've checked Facebook. It is just a little slower, but that's okay because you're on Facebook time.
Right, Facebook time. All right, so these are going to be my top petals. in the case of this one, my top and bottom petals were the same color. And Joanne, if you're using my kit, your top and bottom colors are the same color. It's just that I only had 8 of these and 9 of these. I had 9 of those and 7 of these. So I decided to use them up.
I have a question. Are you ending with a prong or an 11?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. I ended with a prong.
Thank you.
So I'm coming out here between a prong and 11. See it right there? So I'm very glad you asked that. So you're coming out between a prong and 11, but you have not gone through the 11. All right. Okay. All right, so we're going to start making our petals now. And there is a small mistake in the directions we'll get to in a minute. But what you're going to do is you're going to pick up one size 15, which is right here. Sometimes I like these 15s to be a different color. In this case, it's just going to be a darker and a lighter green. So I've got 1 15, 1 11, 2 15s, and 1 Matubo ginkgo bead. Now, I forgot something really important to tell you guys about these ginkgos. With the 2-hole beads, it's always really important to check all of the holes before you start, because you really don't want to get into a project and find out that one of your holes or more is blocked. However, if you do have a blocked hole, a lot of times if you have an AWL, AWL, I know I have a strange accent, then you can sometimes push it out. So give me a second, I'll get one of those. So if you have a blocked hole, a lot of times you can go ahead and you can just push it through. And that's actually the best way to go ahead and check them, is to use one of these. This one is done by Tulip and I really like it. So anyway, back to where we were. I am going to call this the rounded end of the ginkgo, and this the pointy end. And if there's questions on why, then we have some other stuff to discuss, I think. So anyway, I've added 1 size 15, 1 11, 2 15s. I'm going to go from the pointy end to the outer end to the rounded end of the ginkgo. There it is. And now I'm going to make a little loop on the outside. I'm going to add 1 15, 1 8, 1 15, and then go from the rounded end back to the pointy end. There it is. Okay. Then you're going to add 2 15s, an 11, and another 15. And here's where my mistake is that I'd like you to go ahead and fix on the pattern if you're following. I know Joanne is. It says here, go back through the same size 11 seed bean that you came out of, but you actually have just skipped that 11. You've come out of a prong. You're just going to go into the next prong. So that should say just go into the next prong. There it is.
So you don't circle back through the 11 you just came out of?
No, I actually, when I went ahead and came out, I came out from a prong and I didn't go through the 11.
Sweetie, move to the right a little. You're off screen.
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
So I came out of prong.
Oh, okay.
And then I went into the next prong. So I skipped the size 11 down there completely.
Oh, okay. That was me bad. I came out of the 11. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
So I came out of a prong. Okay. And once again, that was a mistake in there. It does say come out of one of the size 11 round seed beads. Instead, come out of the prong and then add all of that stuff. Okay. Is everybody caught up there and okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we're ready to add the next one. You ready? Okay, coming out of that prong, not out of the size 11 seed bead, but out of the prong, what you're going to do is you're going to add one size 15, then you're going to hook into the size 11. You see how I hooked into that?
You're just a tad off the screen, sweetie. There
I
you
keep on
go.
doing that. Okay, so what I've done is I've come out of the prong. I've added a size 15 and then I've hooked into the size 11 from the previous petal. You see it there?
Yep.
Let's see if I can get this to go in. That's out of focus, isn't it?
Oh, now it's
There.
perfect right there.
Okay. So you see how I did that? I just hooked right into that size 11. Okay. Now I'm going to add 2 size 15s.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing the second petal. I'm going to go and add a ginkgo from the pointy end to the rounded end, a size 15. So I'm going to add a ginkgo, a size 15, an 8, a 15, I'm going to go back down through the free hole of the ginkgo on the rounded size to the pointed side. And I'm going to add 2 15s, one size 11 and 1 15, and then just go through the very next prong. You see where we're going there?
No,
I think so.
So they should be hooked together just like that.
That's kind of what mine looks like.
Well, good.
I thought you were on mute. I thought I was on mute too. Sorry. Thanks.
All right, ready to do the next one? You're coming out of a prong. We're going to add 1 15 and hook to that size 11 from the last petal.
Hannah, I have a question.
You bet.
When it says, when your directions, it says go through the 15 round seed bead from the previous petal as shown in the image to the right. Should that be 11?
That should probably be 11. Yeah. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
And then you add the 2 15s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, add the 2 15s. Okay. Thank you.
You betcha. There we go. There. So I've added 2 15s. I'm going to add the next ginkgo from the pointed part to the not pointed part, to the rounded. Add a size 15, a size 8, and a 15. And go back down through. I generally like to use the larger beads as a, when I'm doing any kind of netting, I like to use a larger bead as the connection bead. Unfortunately, these directions did go to a magazine in the UK, and they did some different stuff with it, and I've forgotten to look at them after they got back to me, so I apologize on that. So we've gone through this. We're going to add 2 15s, 1 size 11, and 1 15, and go through the next prong. So now you've got 3 petals done. Now this is pretty much all the same all the way around. What you're going to do on the way up is you're going to come out of a prong, add a 15, go through the 11, add 2 15s, go through a ginkgo, add the top little loop, which could be anything. I have a 15, an 8, and a 15, but you could use a 15 and a drop here, or you could use some of the demi rounds up here. So you could do all sorts of different things at the very top there. But the only thing that's important is really to connect on the way up through that size 11. And then on the way down, you add that 11 so that you have that connection for the next step. So I'm coming out of a prong. I added a size 11. I'm going to go through the larger bead, which if it's a different color, a very different color, then it's easy to find. Add 2 15s. There it is. A ginkgo and my set. So I'm going to continue to do this. Whoopsie. I'm going to continue to do this until I get to the very last one, because that 8th one is where we finally have a difference. Instead of creating a new petal and connecting it on the way up, but not the way down, on that 8th petal, we're going to have to connect on the way up and on the way down in order to make it a full round. Does that make sense? Have I lost people?
We're figuring out how, because we
It
keep
makes sense.
the 15, but it does make sense. We're just getting there.
Okay.
It makes sense in my brain. It's just not coming through my fingers.
All right, well, let's do this next one together again then. So we're coming out of a prong. So everybody get to a point where you're coming out of a prong and then stop. And we'll do this next one together. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Do it slow.
What's that?
Do it slow for my brain.
Yes.
I don't know why that is-
All right. So then you
Okay.
pick up what?
So you're coming out of a prong, right?
Yep.
Everybody ready for me to go on?
Yep.
If somebody's not ready, feel free to say no or type in no, and I'll wait.
Look at the screen.
So,
Look at the screen.
okay.
So
All right.
you
Okay, so I'm gonna pick up, well, no, I was just reading that Joyce is trying Rizos instead of the prongs, and she says they work really well, and I bet that small drops would work well too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So all of those would probably work just fine. So I'm coming out of a prong or a
Yep.
Rizo, and I've added a size 15. Now I'm gonna go through the 11.
it just seems like a lot of space to me. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I was supposed to pick up an 11 before I went through. Okay, so now
So
go through.
15, then through 11.
Mhm. And then 2 size 15s.
Really? Okay. 215.
See it there? And then you're gonna go through a ginkgo from the
I just did.
pointed end to the rounded end.
And then 15, 8, 15.
Well, then you gotta go
Right.
jump down the other hole.
Right, but which step?
15, 8, 15, and then down the other hole.
That's an 8 on the outside? I've been doing
Yeah.
11s.
What's an 8?
Oh my gosh, what a dork I am.
It's okay.
Not a
You know,
dork.
that outside doesn't have to be.
It just
If you've started with the 11s, continue with the 11s. That part is just fine with 11s if it's fitting.
I'll just alternate.
Okay, there you go.
okay. Now,
Okay, jump.
Now I'm gonna go and add 2 size
15.
15s and 11, 1 15, and go through the next Rizo or prong.
That's it. I was missing that extra 15
Yep, I did
before you
too.
went down the next
So
prong.
we totally ignore that 11 that's next to the prom?
You
Yeah,
jump
totally
it.
ignore it.
Okay.
Totally ignore it. You're just going through prongs.
That's a whole lot better than
Much
the
better.
last three
Did that
I
make
put
sense
on.
to you, Tia?
No. Oh my goodness, Tia's eyes and balls just got really big.
Tia doesn't, so, okay, so instead of jumping this, was I supposed to go
You
through
were,
here?
yeah, you weren't supposed to add this one here. You were supposed to go through this one and connect with him.
So Hannah, and the directions, so when you get to that, you go back through your ginkgo, it's 2 15s, 11 0, and a 15. And then you just go through the prong?
Yeah, just go right through the prong.
Okay, because there's a paragraph that's, I mean, it says go back through the same 11 0.
Right. Yeah. One of the things that I said at the beginning is that is a mistake that
Okay,
I need
okay, I
to
just
go
want to
ahead and
make sure,
repair.
because I am updating my notes here. Thank you so much. I
Perfect.
just want to make sure I wasn't marking the wrong thing.
Yeah,
Thank
it's,
you.
you know, it's a lot more complicated sounding when the way they tried to write it and do it than it really is. So it's really just coming out of prongs, weaving a little petal, and then going into the next prong. Okay, so I'm coming out of a prong. I add a 15, an 11, 2 15s. I'm going to add my ginkgo from the pointy end to the big end, to the rounded end. I'm going to add a 15, whatever I want in the middle there, and a 15. It just so happens that I'm putting a size 11 or a size 8 in the middle there. And you can see here, I've forgotten to connect them. So I'm gonna go back here and connect them. Started talking without looking at what I was doing. So I've come out, I've added a 15. I'm gonna go through that 11 and then add the other 2 15s. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna add my ginkgo. Add a 15, an 8, a 15.
It's working much better now.
Oh, good, I'm glad. I'm gonna add 2 15s, an 11, 1 15, and then go directly through the prong. So my mom's trying to call in, but are you guys still seeing what I'm doing here?
No, you
No.
went black.
Okay, hold on.
Mom's getting excuse.
So pick up the 15, go back to the 11. And then
Sorry about that, guys. My mom called in 3 times, so I'll have to get back to her. So, Rita, you've been going through you've been connecting with the 11s. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, but to be
Yes.
fair, I started before class, so I didn't know about the pattern being wrong.
Right.
And because I was kind of far along, I just didn't want to rip it out. I just kept going. But if it's really bad when I'm done, then I'll just rip it out and do it the way it's supposed to be.
Great. I'm really sorry about the mistakes in the pattern there. I should have double checked after, they didn't give me a chance to, the real problem is that they didn't give me a chance to double check it before they print it.
Yeah.
So you should let me know whether or not their version is working out okay.
Well,
I'm looking
yeah.
at the picture that's in the pattern and actually, it does match the directions though.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, as long as it sort of works out.
Follow it as it goes, it will be fine because you add your 15, 11, and then 2 15s.
Uh-huh.
And then your ginkgo. And so that first 15 is what they're connecting to.
Oh, all right. Well, as long as if,
Yeah.
this is the way I do it. If they changed it and it works in their pattern, that's great too. So,
Okay.
but I'm going to continue sort of my way here.
Okay. Well, it might be, maybe it lays a little bit different going through the other way. So we can have 2 different ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about, kind of if it's going to lay the same or not.
But, well, I mean, this is the way that I've done all of the ones that I showed you. So, but in the real time here. But if they've made changes, then I just tend to what I tend to do is I tend to use the smaller ones for the netting, but connect through larger beads because you're going through them more than once. So here I've come out of a prong. I'm going to connect through that 11 and then add the 2. There it is. Then I'm going to go through the ginkgo from the pointy end to the big end. I'm going to add a size 15, an 8, or whatever you want to do at the end here. and a 15. Go down through. Add 2 15s, an 11, and a 15. Okay, and this is the last prong. Can you see that? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is going to be my last petal. And what I want to do is I want to connect this one to that one. You see where I am with that? Go to the gallery. Okay. Can you guys see what I'm doing there? So I'm going to add a 15. I'm going to go through the size 11 like the previous steps. There we go. Gotta pull that nice and tight. There it is. All right. I'm going to add 2 15s. My 8th ginkgo, my 8th and final silver ginkgo. A 15, an 8, and a 15. Now, here's where this is different than the previous ones. If I were to just go ahead and go straight down, these two would have a hole in between them. You see that? So what I want to do is I want to connect this very first petal that I did to the very last petal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 15s. And then I'm going to be going through this size 11. There it is. Okay. That connects them together. I have a size 15, and I'm just going to go through that prong. And there it is. Now, what you'll see is that it feels a little bit floppy right now. Can you feel that? That's what the second set does, the second set of petals. So we're going to turn it over. And I like working from the back for the second set. Okay, so I'm just going to pull. Okay. And this is where, if you're using a crescent, are you using crescents, Rochelle?
Yeah, I am. And they just domed just a little higher over the thing and they're sticking out nicely. So I think it's,
Can we see?
we'll
Can we
see.
see?
I'm attaching my last ginkgo at the moment. Oh, here, she's crescents. All righty, let me switch my camera. Hold on.
Mhm.
Oh no, I gotta find me. There I am.
Don't get lost.
I know.
So
So
that's the back.
this is the back. So the
Uh-huh.
crescents just domed
Oh,
right
how cute.
up. So that way, now that we're working from the back, we'll see how they come out.
Right.
But the top looks just the same.
Oh, it sure does. Look at that. Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so the back just domes like a little pod.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
I know,
should
that's why I thought the stem might go in there.
All right.
So we're gonna see how it all works. This one's actually Shelly's. I'm putting on my last petal of mine, but mine is looking exactly like hers.
I kind of like that.
I do too.
One of the things I love about the whole 2-hole and 3-hole bead system is that a lot of times you can go ahead and do different things with them. You can swap different types of beads out. And that's one of the things that that I just really enjoy about it. Now, for this next step, you're 2/3 done, by the way. For this next step, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing exactly the same thing. Only each of the petals is going to end up right in between the petals that you did on the front row. So they're each gonna, and the way you're gonna do that is you're going to actually come out, you're gonna go through.
What do you mean? Are you using? Yeah.
So I'm coming out this way through this, and I'm gonna go the other direction, you'll see, but I'm going to be going through the size 11 beads from the previous ignoring row. We ignored them last time. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to ignore the prongs and go through all the size 11s.
I think for me, I have to go through the prongs in order for
Right.
it to work out all right.
Right. So for you, since you were going through the size 11s, this time you'll go through the prongs. Exactly. So if in the previous row, you ignored the 11s and went through the prongs, this time you'll ignore the prongs and go through the 11s. And exactly the opposite if you did do the opposite in the previous row. Okay, you ready? So I'm coming out of a size 11.
Okay.
I'm get,
In between.
Okay.
so make sure you're coming out of a size 11. And this time you're just going to ignore the prongs and you're going to go through the 11s.
So we're gonna jump the prong and go in.
Right, exactly. So you're going to come out of 11. You're going to add a size 15 and 11, 2 15s, the ginkgo.
Wait, at 11, 215.
Here it is. You're going to have
Thank you.
15 and 11, 2 15s.
That one didn't go through my needle.
Then you're going to go through, and I'm using a different color here because that's what I've got. We'll see what it looks like when I'm done. It might be awful. So here it is. I've come out. I've added the 15, the 11, 2 15s, the ginkgo from the pointy end to the rounded end. We're going to add a 15, an 8, and a 15, go from the roundy end to the pointed end. Now, this is the first petal on this back row, so we don't have anything to connect to this to. So it's just going to stay all unconnected until my next one. I'm going to add 2 15s, an 11, and a 15. I'm going to skip the next prong, and I'm going to go through the size 11 in between them. You might have to dig to get in there a little bit. So, there it is. Oop. I'm going to have to pick this up and get a little nearer to it for my eyes. Sorry about that, guys. Give me a second. There we go. So there it is. If you come in at an angle like this, then you can skip that prong. So there it is. There's my, okay. And can you see it's hanging out in between? Okay. All right. And I'm just going to do the same thing on this other side that I did on the first side.
Hannah, I'm sorry. Can you, What step is this addition? Like, is this step 9 or step? Like,
Yes. Turn your piece over so you're looking at the back.
Yeah.
The cabochon will have a flat side facing you, and the prongs will look like, well, in your case, the prongs don't look like little rectangles, but
right.
if, right, okay?
Yeah.
So this time,
Oh, I see that. Duh. Go back to 5 through 8 and repeat
Okay.
that. Okay. I'm like,
Right.
going, what did I miss here? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
except instead of going through the prongs, you're gonna go through the 11s. That's the only mistake
God.
that,
Thank you.
so you're doing exactly the same thing. You're doing another layer,
Gotcha.
only this time you are going to be ignoring the
Okay.
the other beads, the ones that you weren't ignoring last time.
Okay.
So you're doing exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Right? So
Now,
on your way up, you're gonna hook them together, and on your way down, you're gonna do the full.
that
Right.
that makes more sense. Okay, thank you. Just a little slow on the giddy up.
Right. So, and you can see here in mine, you can see that new row that I'm doing because it's a totally different color. So I'm coming out of this. I'm going to go through the size 11. I'm going to add the 2 15s and the ginkgo. There we go. All right, how's everybody doing? Anybody having issues? If you are, then don't be shy. All right.
It's that second layer that's gonna make it super flowery.
Right. I bet you could do another layer even with the prongs. I bet you could, not with the prongs, with the crescents. I bet you could do another layer down below even with that second hole on the
We've been talking about.
Is
On
that
the-
what we've been talking about? Is just
well,
exactly.
and if you did it out of like pinks or magenta, then it probably would end up looking an awful lot like a peony.
Well, I just changed my base 15s.
Oh, okay. I just changed the ginkgo color.
Oh,
So,
that would have been smart too.
but we'll see how the changing the 15 color helps too.
Did you get it? You got it? Yeah,
Yay!
great. So now.
You come on over.
You want to work pretty tightly with this, especially this layer, and that'll help to tighten the whole thing up. Yeah, I think, Rochelle, probably I'd add another layer down onto that second hole that you're not using on those crescents. And if you did that in pinks or whites, I bet it would look just like a peony.
So should
Yeah,
go
I
back and-
think so too. I am excited. I think I'll change back to the first color. For the second row, I went to a different color, and so
Mhm.
each row I'm gonna try a different color. An ombre, yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't that be pretty if it was like aren't they usually like darker in the center and they get lighter? So maybe the first row could be like a magenta and the second could be a pink and the third row could be white.
Yeah, exactly. The sky's the limit when it comes to this. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Right.
Where are these? Are there any of those?
Yeah, they're over in the thing too, right over there.
No, I give them away.
Well, why not
Here.
that kind of color or?
Well, not if you're gonna use them, dear.
I'm gonna swap colors for my.
I think this hydrangea would be pretty if you had a big rock that you were beating on.
I think that we have rocks on our mind and that's a great idea.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because there's also gold. I could switch to gold.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm not supposed to be upside. I'm
You are supposed to be upside down.
Yeah, we're working on the backside.
technically, I think hydrangeas only have 4 petals and there's like lots going on with them, but this just reminded me of hydrangea, so that's why it became that. And so, but you know, any botanist probably would tell you that it was not actually.
Yeah, but you have artists. What do you call it? Privilege.
Right. You
Yeah.
can,
Well, thank you.
exactly. And your planet hydrangeas look like this.
And maybe I should have changed the outside color too, though. No, that would have been too much. Okay.
See, I love this because everybody's already like, you guys are all like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do.
No?
So absolutely, this does not have to be all exactly the same. Oops, I keep on going off screen.
Yeah, I brought all kinds of beads for Tia and Shelly to choose from for
Mhm.
your class and my class. And so when you just have piles and piles of options, I think I overwhelmed them a little bit.
Well, if I was
Oh,
told-
no.
if I was told,
Oops.
it'd either been the pink of the challenge or a black, because those are the only 2 ginkgo beads I own.
See, so now when you
So-
have 12 choices,
I know, I don't know what to do. Why
it releases
is
the
this
imagination.
So scared?
Either that or it scares people.
Well, there's that. I
Yeah.
don't scare easily.
Good, I'm glad.
Is that what it's supposed to look like from the front?
Yes. If I could just get through this bead, I'd be a happy person.
If you're having trouble getting through a bead, here's what I sometimes do is I'll lay my needle alongside it going, not into it, but next to it, between the 2 beads that I'm having trouble. Can you see how I'm laying it down this way?
Yes.
So what I'll do, I'm going to show you with a thicker. I'll go ahead and lay it next to the bead I'm having trouble with and between the 2, and then I'll rock back and into it.
Okay.
And sometimes if you lay it between the 2 beads, it opens up a little bit and then you can rock back and in.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Sure.
Because sometimes you're just getting caught on the thread or an angle of a bead you're walking out of or into,
It
or,
was the-
Right.
yeah.
And you know, us left-handed folks, we do everything backward.
Oh, you should have told me. I would have switched for you.
Oh, that's okay. I'm pretty adept at switching.
Most are. So,
Because we have to do it
Yeah.
all.
I've
live.
noticed that most left-handed people are used to switching in their brains, and most right-handed people have trouble doing that. If I show it left-handed, sometimes right-handed people have more trouble because they're not used to making that change.
It's because we've had to adapt
Exactly.
to this silly right-handed world. I've just had trouble with these 15 kinks. They don't seem to want to.
Which one are you having trouble with?
Oh, she's using
Oh.
a little silver line color that,
Sometimes
Well,
it's,
sometimes they have smaller holes, I think, because
I think so too. The silver, it's real sterling silver running through those holes.
is that what I'm using? Are
Yeah.
those pretty?
Well,
Oh,
there,
no
it's
wonder
a
they're so
pink
beautiful.
bead with, yeah, it's number 31.
Oh my God,
Oh,
not realize that.
And it's just sterling silver running through that pretty pink bead. And this, like I said, it's metal. So it sometimes is a little thicker.
No wonder it was so pretty. I didn't realize that was a challenge card. I just went, oh, that's pretty.
I don't know if it's in actually the transparent matte version that color is in the challenge. It's not, that one is not in the challenge. It should be, but they only let me have 17 colors and I wanted 23.
Whoa.
holy moly, lady.
I know it's a little excessive. So I pared it down to 17.
Well, I'm having fun with all 17 of those now that I've changed my challenge piece. I was not having fun before.
And so
I understand that. I'm reworking mine. I haven't had the guts to rip it yet, but I might have to.
I don't think you ripped yours, Hannah. Didn't you just abandon it?
Well, that's what I do.
Oh, I'm gonna finish it at some time. But it's not gonna be original. It's not gonna be the original thing that I was making. I think I'm gonna turn it into a just into a collar or maybe put it on a bag. But so I'm not even abandoning it for forever. Just
Yeah.
to get a challenge piece done. I'm abandoning it until the other one gets finished.
I have to abandon it till I can just sit down without being interrupted.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I've just put mine. Mine is fine, and it'll be something I'm interested in finishing later. But this new one I'm really jazzed about. So there you go.
Last one I was so jazzed about, and this one I'm not. So maybe I do need to just change. I had a ball.
Well,
Rochelle, how are they? Are they coming in nicely? Are you seeing some
yeah,
of the challenges?
it's pictures are coming in of people. We haven't posted the mini kit people yet.
Mhm.
Because we're launching the other ones. So we're getting more and more feature designer pieces. So I
Has-
Rochelle, what's the deadline on that?
there kind of isn't one, but if you want to be considered as a feature designer for 2023, then I need a picture by what was it, September 15th, because we choose at the beginning of October. So you got
Okay,
lots of months still to make a design. But if you
okay,
don't want to be a feature designer, you just want to take the challenge, you can do any year, anytime, and send us pictures anytime and we'll post them.
oh, okay. Well, we'll see if I can get it to work. I will send it to you.
Yay!
Yeah.
Mhm. So can you see that I've got my little bronze? Actually, this came out cuter than I thought it was.
I
I'm
was
not
just
quite
saying,
done with this round, but can you see the little bronze petals peeking out in between?
Yeah,
So there. So
beautiful.
I'm not quite done with this one. I've got 6 done, and I should have 8, but remember I only had 7 of this. So I'm gonna have to do something weird at the end, probably with this guy. Just because I wanted to use my leftovers. But if this was the one with 8, I would go ahead and hook that last one on the way up and on the way down.
okay, that was my question. That's where I am.
Is that far? Dang.
Well, once I finally figured out what she told me, then I kind of went with it.
They could.
Well, it's not that I couldn't figure it out. I'm just slower.
Well, everybody beads at different rates, and that's okay. For me, I have trouble like remembering to put it underneath this camera for you guys. You think that by now I'd be used to that since I've been doing this for quite a while, but I still have trouble.
That's the hardest part to remember because you get started done new to teaching and it's so hard to remember to do that.
Right? Yeah, you're like, and you pick it up to look at it too, because these beads, especially these little 15s, who designed these? These are awfully small.
I know.
Oh, I gotta show you something. That reminds me of something that's very funny that as soon as I go ahead and do this, I'll go find them. I've got some size 30 beads here.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Holes in
Okay.
it?
I've seen
Yeah.
20s, but my gosh.
But I didn't
Yeah.
think you could drill a hole in a 30. I thought that was just a glue on.
Uh-uh.
What's a 30?
Microscopic.
Half the
It would
size
have to
of
be.
15.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I know. I picked them up in the Czech Republic just because I thought they were hysterically
No, that
funny.
was beautiful. That turned out perfect.
Yes. I haven't flipped mine yet.
I haven't flipped it back over. Yeah, but it's looking great. It's working perfect with the crescents.
Oh, I'm so glad.
But I do need a third layer, and
Yeah.
it's gonna just then stagger in the middle like the first layer does.
Exactly.
We might actually need a third and fourth. I'm trying to.
Hey,
Well,
Rochelle, later, can you spotlight yours? Because I like to see that.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
kind of
putting
cool.
a
When you do
final
that.
thread pass through so that I can.
I
Yeah.
got another one I can't get through.
let-
I'm gonna go look for my size 30s here.
Oh, whoops, wrong one. Whoops. Wrong camera. There we go. All right, let's see. And spotlight. Come here, little guy. Let's
Oh,
get this.
you know what?
up
Some of
here.
these ones aren't going through.
Oh, they look like little bitty specks.
All right. And
It's pretty.
so the top of mine looks like this. So the crescents just narrowed right down in the center, just like the prong would. And I've got the dark layer. I did the back a different color so that it sticks up. And then the little prongy guys here, that's how the prongs still sit up on the back. Or the crescents, I mean, I'm sorry. If you would have used prongs, they would have been flat, but the crescents still stick up. So yeah, I'll have a whole space to do a third and fourth layer off of that bottom hole and still be able to get something under my crescent.
Oh, forever.
Whoopsie, come on.
Wow.
But it's
That'd
working.
be cool.
It's
You can
working.
even extend your beading, like your 15s and 11 to make it extend out a little bit more.
Oh, what a
On the
great
next
idea.
row, you know what I
Kelly.
mean? And then do that for your third row, and then your fourth row would be, you know,
Oh,
build off of that.
absolutely. Yeah, because like I said, it's got, enough space. This just filled in from the first hole of that crescent. So it's got,
Pretty. Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's
telling you, it'll look like a peony, I think.
it
I think it's gonna be great.
really will. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is really,
This
really.
is so much fun.
Oh, thank you.
All right, remove my spotlight.
Okay, so you ready for this, guys?
Yep.
All right. So I know that's out of, see whether or not we can get it to go into focus. So on the right
Good.
are the size 15s. And on the left,
Mhm.
can you see them there? I know it's out of focus, but I can't get it to focus on.
Gosh.
So
That's,
they're about half the size of a 15, which makes sense.
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Those should be called forbidden beads.
Isn't that ridiculous? There's in focus.
For anyone over
I've never
40 at least,
used
yeah.
them. I've never used them. I have them in 3 different colors and I just brought them home because I thought they were funny.
Are they the same size as a Charlotte?
Oh gosh, no, they're much smaller.
Oh gosh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, the Charlottes are usually like 15s or even 16s. But
Okay.
these, so anyway, these I bought them from a place called Star Beads in the Czech Republic. And I think for this pack, everything is really inexpensive in the Czech Republic. I think this pack is probably 7.5 or 8 grams, and it cost me probably $1.50.
Oh,
Wow.
But remember, they're Czech beads, not Japanese, so they are a little less regular in terms of size. Of course, when you're never going to use them, it doesn't matter, does it? As I said, I just brought them home because I thought they were so funny.
One of the ladies in our group, her name is Suzanne Stephenson, does French beaded flowers, and she looks for the tiniest beads she can find. She would be obsessed with those.
Well, I think that, Bead Cats up in near Portland has pretty small ones. I'm not sure if they have size 30s, but they have pretty tiny ones. And they do the Czech ones. And I got a chance to meet Carol. It's Carol Perno, I think, and Virginia Blakelock. I got a chance to meet them last weekend at the show I was at. And it was really exciting.
So
They're
I
really
have a
nice
question.
girls.
Yeah, those are really cool.
They're really nice people.
I know, aren't they? They're lovely.
I've known them for years because of Bead and Button.
Right. Well, I had never really met them. I had seen them at Bead and Button before, but I had never met them before.
Virginia didn't come to teach for us, but whatchamacallit, I can't think of her name now.
Carol.
Carol came to teach for our bead group.
Oh, nice. Well, maybe Carol will come to teach for us here. I'll
They're
ask
just
her.
very sweet girls.
Yeah. As I said, I met Carol. I didn't get a chance to meet Virginia. She didn't come to the show. So this last one, remember, I only had 7 of this bronze color. So this last one, I've added a little bail instead. So that's what mine's going to look like, is with a little bail here.
So the top and the bottom are, it's like I want to tack them together so I don't get flopping. But that might be because I used Rizzo's.
Well, it could be, or it could be that, you want to maybe go through again and tighten them up a little bit.
That was the question. They were just asking, how do you make it less floppy?
It wants to flop along.
So mine is pretty tight, and I've just used one thread. I usually use the fire line for it, and it's really stiff. But in this case, this one is it's pretty good because I've gone in and tightened it up. You can just pull and tighten it. I would recommend doing it after each layer and not all at the end, though.
Gotcha.
But it does sit against you nicely, even if it is floppy.
Cool.
Okay, spread things out. What you need.
Well, I was looking for thread, just
Oh.
trying to prepare, get all my stuff together so that,
I thought it was something I could help with.
no. I can use mauve thread with copper. Sure, why not?
I got purple thread going.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's part of the ambiance of a beading project is your thread color.
I think thread color makes a huge difference.
I think
I
so.
think it does too.
And I think you can totally change a project.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So if I want to tighten this, what I'm going to do is go to the first one and just pull each one a little bit.
Like pull the beads at the edge of the
See,
ginkgo
I'm just kind of pulling the
edge
ginkgos a little bit, one at a time.
and go around the circle. Okay.
Yeah,
and just looping a thread.
and that should, that should tighten it up just fine. Not so much that you break it, but
Right.
All right, well, this is super floppy, but this one.
Oh, that's beautiful, Shelley. I think it looks great.
It's just looks like it's blowing in the wind here.
Well, the petals of a flower are gonna do that.
It'll be very attractive to be.
Yeah.
I like them both
Absolutely.
ways, the same color beads or the two-tone. Looks
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
cool.
I do too. I'd never tried it before. I just didn't know whether or not I had picked two colors that were too dissimilar. So I
Like
actually,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
came out really well. And you can see the difference. This one I did with the Fireline and it is much stiffer. And this one I did with the one layer of 1G, and you can see it's a little bit floppier.
You probably even could just double your 1G and wax it even and get a little thicker or a little stiffer too. It's depends on your beads you're using. It's just so cool. I can't wait to get home and finish the other layers.
Is yours super fluffy? That's yours.
Yeah, mine's floppy or sort of, not
Oh,
as,
not like mine.
not as yours.
Huh.
But because I was trying to, I did go through the next, just up, down, the next ginkgo just to secure my thread
Mhm.
before I set her down. And then to get to the 11, I went up through a ginkgo and down a next ginkgo to actually get to that 11 to start the second layer. So sometimes just passing through an up and a down
Yeah.
helps.
I tend to agree.
I don't know, how do you normally strengthen, Hannah? Do you go up, back, all different thread paths as well, or just a couple, or?
Sorry, I was muted. I usually do use the Fireline for this, but I am out. You may want to try it with a double thread.
Oh, forgive me.
But if I were to go ahead and try to make this less floppy, I might go weave back and forth between the 11s here and there and just go back and forth between the 11s.
Mhm.
What I did was, as I was ending my thread, I went back through some of them again, and that seemed to help.
Right.
That's what I'm trying.
So if you don't have a little bail and you want to turn it into a pendant, then what you can see here is I've just gone and added a string of beads across it, because what I wanted it to do is I wanted it to sit down, not drop down below it, but sit sort of over my my chain. So you can see here how the chain is below that set of petals. Can you see that?
Mhm.
So when I turn it over, it appears to come out, whereas this one, the chain would be all the way up here, which I actually don't like as much. But if you wanted to make it into earrings, you wouldn't add this bail, you would just attach right there to earrings. I've made a little loop on top of that. Can you see it? I've made a little loop on top of one of the ginkgos. Can you see it right there?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I would go ahead and attach it to earrings if I was making a set of earrings. But- So how you guys all feeling about this?
That's a great pattern. I really love it.
It's fun to do and have fun changing it for your own design. It sits nicely against you, even if it is a little bit floppy in midair. Once you get it up against you, it'll sit nicely on you as a pendant. And it's fun. So if you guys make it, tag me on Facebook and then I can share.
Come here.
Cool.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is really neat. I got too monochromatic in my color scheme, but I got the whole gist of the thing, so it's cool.
Well, I'm actually surprised how well this one came out. And
Ooh,
it's
I
so
like the
out there.
green.
It just has nothing to do with each other. I mean, I thought it was going to
Pretty
be
though.
really kind of awful, but it's kind of fun. So maybe the thing to do is really pick crazy colors.
Yeah, go wild. Beads gone wild.
That's right.
Yep, the crazier the combination, the better. I think it works out well.
I do too. And it looks like I've gone over my time, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries whatsoever. We are just having all kinds of fun here, and that's sort of the point, right?
Mhm.
And so we are doing, it's called Diamond Demi Duo. And this is what, there's many versions of how to do the pattern. So I'm going to show you a couple versions first, and then we're going to make, so it starts off with a base of right angle weave, and you use demi beads and these 2 hole diamonds. It's the check bead 2 hole system. And when it's a diamond shape, it's perfectly uniform, and they're at these 45 degrees. So when you do a right angle weave with these demis, the points are so pointy, they kind of get in the way. So the diamonds notch together at a 45-degree angle just because of the shape of the bead. And it's a really unique little thing. And so we're going to make first, it looks like this. This is the base. This is how right angle weave looks when you use a diamond and a demi. The demi bead, if you're not super familiar with it, is just a sliver of a bead. They take the normal seed bead and cut it right in half. So when I first made the pattern, it only had size 8 and size 11 demis, because that's all that existed in the universe. Now size 6 demis exist in the universe. So you can do the pattern with size 6 alone if you want to. It's the same, but we're going to start first with the way the pattern's written with the 11s and the 8s. It's really cute. So here's another version. I know we have a little delay here. So when you're doing right angle weave with demis and diamonds, you can either do it every single square or kind of in every other square. When you do it every square, your pattern is going to turn out just like this. It's really nice and tight together. Looks almost like one of those crystal tennis bracelets in my mind, because it's really nice and tight. When you do an every other diamond, then you get a pattern which is flat with these little raised gems in the middle of it. And so it's just like also my bracelet here. When you do more monochromatic with your diamonds and your demis, then your gem duos on the top really pop out. So it just depends on your style of what you want to do. But for the class, I want to do a little bit more contrasting colors so that you could see what it's going to look like. So I'm using these copper and brown and turquoise today. And so your gem duos have the 2 holes once again, and the dome is what's going to be on the top. So that's going to be for the second layer. So we're going to work first with the demis and the diamonds and make our base layer before we add our gem duos. So what you're gonna show you is the pattern here. And so here it is.
Mm, that might be color.
You want the brown
I
color?
know that you-
Which color?
That one.
The mauve?
But you're- Oh, is it mauve? I thought it was
This one
brown.
is mauve. No, brown is,
I'll use gray.
okay.
Gray's fine.
So the thread sort of matters in this because you're doing right angle weave with demis. And since they're so skinny, you will see part of the thread. We're going to be adding an 8 demi, an 11 demi, and then going through one of the holes of the diamond, an 11, 8, 11, diamond, 11. So basically there's one of those little 11 guys in between your beads, and the 4 beads will be 1 demi, 1 diamond, a demi, a diamond. So that's your 4 beads, and the little 11s are like spacers to make it perfectly work right. So you're going to see just a tiny bit of that thread when you jump your hole. So I'm using more of a mauve thread to blend between the brown and the copper. I have also used a brown when I made the mace here. I did a really dark brown, so it'll add a little bit more of a depth. Either way, just if you're using a fire line, you could just know that you might see a tiny bit of the thread in the base. And so this is what we're going to do here over and over and over to make the base. Like I said, we add 1 8 demi, 1 11, and then a diamond, and then an 11, 8. And then we're going to go through that all again so that it goes in a circle, So you've tightened up your first one. If you want to tie on a stopper bead, you could. You want to work from your bobbin, but pretty much we don't tie any knots in right angle weave. And so I just go in a couple more circles just to begin and just get to hold your tension right. So after you pass through all the beads, you're going to exit out the second 8. And we're going to repeat that over and over and over again if you want to make a solid diamond pattern in order to do that. If you want to make the right angle weaves, then you just skip the diamond and we're just going to do an 8 instead. So it's a pretty fun little pattern. So I'm going to stop this. And during class here, I decided we'll make a quick little ring. What? And that way.
Yeah, I gotta cut the pineapple later.
Whoops. Okay, who's not? Oh, it's Joanne. Sorry. I'm gonna mute you, darling.
Sorry, I just muted myself.
Okay. So what we're gonna do in class is we're gonna make a fun little ring, which is a combination of the right angle, and then we'll put the solid diamonds in the middle. And that way you'll learn how to do all of the things. And we won't have to spend an hour and a half making a base for you to make a bracelet and finish next week, okay?
Oh, I started making the base.
Well, that's okay. You can, if you're that fast. I was just going to do a couple of right angle weaves first, and then we'll add them. But those of you who have already started and you have a lot more time on your hand than we do in this show,
No, it's just being an overachiever.
that's quite all right. So I always bead from my bobbin, and that way, or have a long enough tail so that you could add part of a clasp with your tail. Okay. So add 1 8 demi and 11 demi, and then repeat that 3 more times. So you're going to have a total of 4 of each. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of each, starting with the 8 demi and ending with the 11 demi. Slide them down about a yard on your thread. And then I always wrap them around my finger and I pass through all of them again. And then I'm going to pass through all of them again. This is my very first square or cube, whatever you call it. It's not really a cube we're making. We're doing just regular right angle weave, not cubic right angle weave. So my very first one, I just pass through a few extra times so that all the beads will stay in my tension that I want. and I don't have to tie any knots. So then all I'm asking is come out of any size 8 demi. So you have 4 size 8 demis and 4 little 11s as spacers in between. So we're just going to do a couple more of those.
4 8.
Well, it's your very first square. 4 8/0 demis, because I'm just doing regular right angle weave to begin with, just like if you're going to add it. And then we're going to add the diamonds here in one moment.
I was back.
That's quite all right. So you're going to come off of the 8. So then you'd add 1 11/0 and an 8 and an 11/0 and an 8. So we had 3 more of those big 8s. And then 1 more, there we go. So you're going to have now on your thread here 4 little 11 demis and 3 8s. Because the little 11 demis are just the spacer. So how it works is you slide it all the way down and then you pass through the 8 from the previous square and pass through all of them again. And then pull it towards you. And now you pass through the first 8 of the previous square, the second 8 and the little demis, and come out of the middle 8/0 that's directly across from your tail. We're moving in one direction. So all of these are just going to go forward, 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 forward. So after about 3 of these, then we're going to start to add our diamonds. I know, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And this is a reversible stitch. Like at the moment, it can go either direction. So if you're right-handed or a left-hander, right angle weave normally goes in a circle. You can always just flip it over. And that way you're circling in the same direction. It's totally up to you. So once again, add a little 11 demi, 8 demi, 11. We're just going to do one more square here with just demis, and then we're going to add diamonds on the next one. This way it'll either give you some flexibility right at the end, so you can add it to your clasp right before you add your demis and your diamonds and all of that. So, okay. So we've added our 3 giant 8s and our 4 little 11s. I always slide it down and pass through them all at the same time. It makes it really easy. And then I pinch it with my fingers and pull towards myself. So they just form that little circle. But now you got to move forward. So remember, you pass through the 8 from the previous square and then exit the second 8 in your square so that you move forward. Okay, so now we're going to add our diamonds. So once again, from our pattern, we add the little 11 as our spacer between everything. And our diamonds are going to be the side beads. Oh, this will have focus. There you go. The diamonds are the side beads and the 8/0 rounds are like the north-south, I would say, and the east and west. So that means that 1 demi 11, 1 diamond. The holes are uniform, so it doesn't matter which hole you go through. Then
Make sure you have 2 holes.
make sure you have 2 holes. That's all that really matters. And then your little 11/0, it's a spacer, and then add the 8 demi, the little 11 demi, and then a second diamond and a little 11 demi. So now pull your project all the way down to your fingers once again. And
Sorry,
yeah,
Rochelle, can you let Hannah back in?
I just did.
Okay, thank you.
Did she make it? Wait a minute. She was here. Now I don't know where she went.
She just asked me to ask you to let her back in.
I know. And she was here and I just let her and now she's gone again. I think she might be having internets. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, no, no. And so there she is. Now she's back. Thank you. She's normally my assistant. So when my assistant leaves, then all right. So we have now added once again one little demi 11 and then a diamond, a little demi 11, an 8-0 demi, and then 11 and a diamond. So we are going to pass through all those beads just like we did when it was just the demis. So pass through them all again. I pinch it when I pull it so that it stays right in place. That way those diamonds just sit on the sides. So we're going to pass through the 8 from the previous row up through the little demi 11, the diamond, the little 11, and now exit out the 8. And those 2 diamonds are going to just sit right like that. They're going to be at a 45-degree angle. And so don't worry if it's a little bit loose. They'll tighten as they go and they'll flip around and everything like that. And then all you have to do is put your fingernail in and pinch them together. So we are going to do several more rows like this with adding the diamonds. So add an 11-0 demi and then a diamond, an 11-0 demi, an 8-0 demi, 11 demi, a diamond, and an 11 demi. So once again, you just have that simple set. We're going to slide them all the way down, pass through the 8 from the previous circle, and then all the new beads that you just added, pinch them together and pull towards yourself, and it forms that loop. So once again, you add through the 8 from the previous circle. And when you pull that tight, then those are gonna just flip right into place. I keep flipping my thing over and over just so that I can make my circles in the same direction. And so it is much easier, I personally think. So then you just flip it back when you want the top. It's perfectly easy. So now we're going to do a couple more of these. It's pretty repetitive. So if you want to make a bracelet, you have to make all the different rows all the way down first of that base. Then we'll add the top. So that's why we're going to make a ring in class. It's going to just be faster, but it's the same exact pattern as the bracelet. It's just shorter. So an 11 demi, a diamond. Just think of the 11 as that perfect little spacer that makes everything sit right. And it kind of looks like a prong set, as in real jewelry, when you have, you know, like a real stone, it has those little prongs that hold them in. And so that's the way they look in this pattern. And so we pass through all of them again. Oh, this is your stop. And we go in a circle. And then you're going to pass up to exit the top. You can only go through a couple beads at a time, like the little demi 11 and the diamond. And then since it's right angle weave, you're turning at right angles. So it is 1, 2, 3. Okay, we need another one. So each gem duo is going to sit in between 2 diamonds. So when we're making it, you just have to at least have, depending on how many you want, each gem duo then is going to sit in between those diamonds. So for our ring, I think 3 or 4 would be perfect. So I just had this vision last night to make diamond rings, and haven't done it before, so I figured why not with you guys? Make it work, right? Okay, so little demis, then an 8, little demi, then another diamond, little demi. And so just controlling your thread and your tension is part of a successful right angle weave. It's a medium tension stitch, but by going in circles and circles is how you create the strength. So you don't have to pull super tight. Once you finish the circle, then you pull taut and then everything will sit into place. So don't judge your work before you're done. It's okay. So let me see how big my finger is. Yeah, I want one more. I think 5 demis or diamond sets are going to be perfect to have 3 gem duos across the ring. So that's what we're going to do. So add one more little diamond demi. 8. Are you guys having fun over there?
What?
Yeah. Cool.
Well, I am. I don't know if she is.
Well, I think that it's a really fun project if you're learning how to seed bead to do it with friends. So I'm just so glad that you stuck around, Tia, to seed bead with us.
Yeah.
So anybody else that's out there, whether you're, doing the project or just watching, we're just so happy you joined us today. It's so much fun to have people visiting together and beading together. The community spirit, right? And so, yeah, those diamonds will just fold right up. And so, yeah, perfect. So now we'll just do, since we started with 3 little squares, I'm going to go back and we're just going to do the demis. So an 11 demi, an 8, an 11, an 8. And we'll make 3 regular squares with just the demis. And that's how you get space in the jewelry to have a little bit more movement. Otherwise, if you do them solid, it doesn't really hang straight. I mean, that's the curve. It's a natural curve. So that's why if you want the bracelet really to be straight, you have to give some room for movement. So having the space in between then creates a little bit more special gem look. I just think it's
There.
a fun look. Okay, so now we're
I like the idea of making a ring. That's a cool idea.
isn't
Yeah.
it? And so
Yeah.
and I don't know, you could even just make napkin rings, for your place settings.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm all about home decor lately. Just because it's spring, everything is.
You might be able to make loop earrings too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
just make a bigger circle and then figure out if you want to do every other or do it all.
Yeah, I can't wait to see
diamonds.
what you guys come up with ideas. Like I said, yeah, this is one of my early trendsetter patterns when the diamonds came out like 6-7 years ago. And now there's the mini gem duo, which is like half the size of this. So then I thought maybe I'm not sure what else you could do with different. The diamonds are the same size though, so I'm not exactly sure. But each time you come up with a new bead, the interchangeable parts of the beads, I do think is just. it just enthralls me to figure what else can you do, or can you downsize it or upsize it? And so, but yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out the right size for the bead or the ring here, since this is a new, and then we'll show you how to put the top embellishment here. Let's see. Yeah, I think 2 more loops is going to be my size. So if you're making a ring, you're going to want to make it for whatever size finger you have. So it might only be just a couple. So we're just doing right angles here. Okay. All right. So if you were making a bracelet or a necklace out of this, you can just right angle weave in your clasp. Well, that's the idea. So that's what I was just going to go. I forgot it at home, but that's the idea. So if you were going to make your bracelet, and this was right at the right length, you could certainly, there's so many beadable clasps. I know, just because we're here and we were talking about our symbols. See, they have these really neat beadable magnet clasps, and they're the same shape as a gem duo. They're actually have the holes, oops, there you go, in the same place. So that's the gem duo, and that's the clasp. So if you,
Because I was busy.
yeah, they're the absolute perfect. So if you wanted to, it's the same hole size, the same everything as the gem duo, it beads right through that little thing. So you could just right angle weave that right on there and add 1 little 8, go through the clasp, 1 little 8, and then go through the previous row. And you would just right angle weave your clasp right on there.
That's pretty slick.
I know it is. Or depending on your clasp, I also was using the demis have a hole that's pretty big. So you could just attach the jump ring right onto that demi. It's just pretty large. Or if you do want, it's totally up to you to do the old fashioned 7-8 bead loop thing. And then you could add your clasp onto that. Since we're making a ring, I was going to hook them together just as a normal right angle weave, just hook them together.
You could do one of the cool clasps that we learned and put a gem duo in it. Also.
You could. And so if you're going to connect your right angle weave together, it's pretty darn simple to do. You want to wrap it around your finger. And we already have 1 8 bead from this first square over here. And we're coming out of an 8 here. So all we have to do is add the 8 on each side here. So we have a little 11-0 demi, 1 8, 1 11-0, and then pass through just the 8 from where you started. You started right there. And then keep it around your finger so it doesn't get twisted. Then you add 1 11 demi, 1 8 demi, 1 11, and then pass through the 8 from where you just came from. So now you've just connected your right angle weave ring together.
So you wouldn't necessarily need a clasp. Couldn't you make this like a bangle?
It depends because
Already.
your wrist is so big. When they're like this, I couldn't get it over my, this one I have a magnet on it that I just used a loop. But I don't think, because my wrist is so big, I don't think a bangle would work. But it depends on the size of your wrist. All right, so we're just connecting this a couple more times in the circle just to connect our ring. Now we were done here. And now we want to go and add our second layer.
Now we're in trouble because we're doing overachieving.
So we want to work our way back close to our diamonds. So if you are right next to a diamond of wherever you started and did, then you're great. Otherwise, just follow your same right angle weave path down where you started and work your way over to your first. I have a little knot in my thread. We're just going to work with it. The holes are so big, it'll go through, right? And so we've got all of our little diamonds. I'm going to, we want to jump to the open upper hole here. So if you are following your pattern, this was after you finished your main layer. All those people who are following your pattern,
Sorry, Mom.
that's okay. It's basically on page 3. And so let's show you where you're at for all those people following the pattern. What we have done is we did our basic right angle weave and our diamond weaves here with adding the diamonds on the sides, and we scroll down.
Well, we're doing it.
We are.
We're just doing it.
You did the long version, which is perfect. So we're so excited. So you came down, whoops, there's the clasp. So right here, remember we talked about adding the clasp? You can add your clasp in many different ways. If you're adding a normal button magnet, then usually I recommend adding a wire guardian. This one here has a button magnet, and I didn't add my wire guardian, and I have fixed it 4 different times because this thread on these button magnets just keeps strain. So if you're going to use a button magnet, use a wire guardian. Otherwise, if you're using the beadable magnets, those don't put that strain on it because of the shape of it. It's beaded right in and you don't have that strain. So it's only the button magnets. Okay, so we're going to add our top layer of our gem duo here. And so once you've come back from your right angle weave, what we're going to do is jump pass through the little 11-0 and the first diamond. Then we jump to the open hole of that first diamond and go back outwards towards your clasp or towards the outside of the ring. And then we add one little 11-0, which is our like a stopper bead. And then we turn around and go right back through the demi or the diamond, I'm sorry. And we add one little 11-0 demi and pass through one hole of a gem duo. And this is where you have to make sure your gem duos, they have a top and a bottom. So if you're working on the left side of your object, then you'd want to go through the left hole of your gem duo. If it's the right side, it's the right hole. Either way, you want to make sure the top of that gem duo is upwards. And so then we add another little demi and then pass through the diamond, and each in between each diamond, there's just a little 11 demi and then the gem duo and a little 11 demi, and we go just pass through. So we will stop sharing this and show you really how we're doing it live in person with all those folks. So remember, it's a 2-hole bead. So you do want to make sure that you've checked your beads and that both holes are open.
Okay, so we are right here on our little diamond demi. When it's a ring, you can even put it around your finger. It's really easy. So we're passing through the little demi that's before the diamond, but not the one after. Just go through. And if you catch your thread, then you have to unwind it. Sorry. I looped my thread. That's what happens when you work off your bobbin. You got to be careful of your tail thread.
That's okay. I was so intent on watching you.
I know.
Well, I forgot I could just watch you over here.
Oh, on the monitor. Oh my gosh. Well, we have 3 cameras and 2 computers set up in our cute little studio here.
And 3 people.
And 3 people. So it's loads of fun. And so if you ever want to be a teacher, you can always come down and teach in our studio with us. Okay, so once again, now I've untangled my thread, rethreaded my needle. We're passing through the very first diamond, jumping to the upper open hole. And
And
this,
aren't you getting a new computer and Zoom session or set of information in?
we are getting a whole new set of cameras, lights, setup, everything, so that yeah, we were just Nanita and James are working on that part, so that James is our technician and he's picked out the perfect equipment so we can have 2 people set up here on all the videos, lights, and it will go with us. So wherever we want to go, we can take it with and then have our perfect studio set up too. So when we have, whether we're beading down in Rochester or beading at the Bead Bazaar or beading wherever. So
That's awesome.
I know, with the Upper Midwest Bead Society is really we're supporting our AV, you know, to have a better quality for you.
Well,
So
that would make such a difference.
it'll help. So once you jump through that top hole of the diamond, we're adding 1 little demi. It's kind of like a stopper bead, because you're going to now turn around and go right back where you were. So that's exactly all it is a stop bead at the outside of the diamond. And then we add 1 little demi and then our gem duo. So I am beading this way. So make sure they're up correct and that you're going through the correct hole. And then 1 little 11 demi and then go through the next diamond. So this way, those guys are going to sit right in between each one. So add 1 11 demi, go through the correct hole of your gem duo, 1 little 11 demi, and then pass through the next hole. And they're just going to flip right into place. 1 little. Let's see, yeah, go through my left hole here. Okay, now I'm on my last one because I'm only doing 4 on my ring here. Let's see, do I do this right? I don't. Okay. So now. There we go. So I've got my 4 gem duos there in between my 5 diamonds, because you need to have a diamond on each side. Now we're going to do the same thing. Add that stopper bead and turn around and go right back through all those 4 beads you did. So it's securing them right back in place. You could jump down and go to the other side and go in a circle, or you could just go back and forth. So at the moment, since I'm doing a ring, I'm just turning around to go right back because we're going to really secure the side. So that's all I did is I added a little demi in between my gem duos. And then I'm going through my stop bead on the other side here to secure the tension.
Oh man, she's done and we're still on part A.
And then now I'm going to jump down to the bottom of my diamond, right where I started this whole side of the procedure. And since we want to get down to the other demi or diamond, we pass through the demi. How many D's? That's why this is a diamond demi duo. And it's a tongue twister. So you've just passed through your demi 8, your demi 11, and now we're going through the diamond on the other side, the lower hole. We jump to the upper hole. And I'm going to put that little stop bead again. It almost looks like a little rivet or a little thing when it just sticks out there. So that's why the demi is a perfect excuse not to use a 15. Because those demi 11-0s have a giant hole in them and they're easier to see than the 15s. You can fit an 11-0 needle through 11-0 demi 11 times. So honestly, I really do replace 11 demis with a lot of my 15-0 usage. So you've just come out of the top of that other diamond there. And so we've got our gem duo here. We want to connect now to that open hole. So that second hole of that gem duo, pass through that and it's going to pull it right into place. Then you add your little 11 demi, pass through the next open diamond, and it secures him right in there. It looks like just little prongs. And so then you add one little demi, pass through the next gem duo. One little demi, pass through the next diamond. If any of the diamonds get all a little quirky, you can just stick your fingernail in there and it just sits right back up again. And so one little 11, pass through the gem duo. So if you're doing a bracelet, or a necklace, go down through the whole thing, this whole way. One side, then the other side. And one little demi is a spacer between everything. And then once you get to the other side, we add that one little stop bead again. And then turn around. I usually wrap it around my finger to hold the tension. And then I turn around and go back through that same path I was just on. So pass through the little demi and the gem duo because you want to secure that tighter and wrap that into place. Secure him tighter. And of course, these needles have such big eyes. My thread comes out.
Yep. I think that's amazing.
I know, and this is the size 11 Toho needle we're using.
It's huge.
It's huge for an 11. It's way
Even my eyeballs can
stronger
see it.
than the John James. And the eye is longer as well. I think that's the other part. So I just love these Toho needles. So we're just go all the way back here. And I pass through my little demi stopper bead once more. And turn around and go right back. So if you think that that's strong enough, then you can just jump back down. But otherwise, I mean, I think it's made a cute little diamond ring.
Yeah.
I mean, the side profile is pretty narrow because it's just the little right angle weave here. And then the side is that high. So, I mean, I made it for my first finger. If you wanted to embellish on the right angle weave part, you certainly could of just the demis. But since it's a ring, you know, you kind of keep it a lower profile. And they really pop out once you actually put it on a finger. Versus just having it crumpled in your hand. But I would probably go back and reinforce it just a little bit more, just so it's stronger, because it's a ring and you're kind of going to bash it around a lot. But either way, you just have one diamond on each side of each gem duo. So I have 4 gem duos, and that fits across. If I were making it for a smaller finger, I think I would only use 3. Like your fingers, your hands are smaller, Shelley, so maybe. But I think it's a really fun. And so that's the same way that you do it for any of the patterns. If you want it in every other one, like this one, it really stands out as you know, it's just a nice focal piece. So you do your right angle weaves and then 2 diamonds, and then do an open square, and then 2 diamonds, and then an open square and 2 diamonds. So you need to have the diamonds on each side of the gem duo. So that's all what you kind of have to remember if you're making not solid. Otherwise, it's just solid all the way. And because the gem duo is slightly bigger, it will form this little curve just naturally. That's how it works. So it's pretty cool. But you can use, like I said, 6s or 8s. Instead, this one is done with 6s. This is all 6s. And then you don't need to, I filled in with 8s and 11s. But if you want to do all black, like I said, this one is really fun. This one reminded me of the 1980s when we all wore those cat collars. So I don't know if y'all grew up in the 80s like me, but it was, I know. I graduated in 85, sorry.
After booking up for 9 years.
And so if you're making it, see, it does take a longer time to make it when you're making the bracelet. And so that's why I just made a couple squares in between. And so I'm going to turn this one into a necklace, actually. So that's why I had a whole bunch of solids, and then I have a blank square, and then I have 2 diamonds and a blank square, 2 diamonds, blank square. So that way that would be the center of my necklace. And then I made the solid diamonds again. So this one's going to be a choker. It just takes longer to do it. So like I said, if they get all mixed up while you're making it, don't worry about it. You can always put them back into place just before you put the top layer on. So they're so forgiving. And you can,
How do I do the top of it?
yeah. And so once again, how to do the top layer for anybody who, well, if you were still doing the other thing, that's the whole idea, is we just repeat when necessary. So since I bead from my bobbins and I started this whole necklace, this is from like 4 feet of thread, will make most of a necklace. Then I just take my tail, unravel it. Now I have enough thread to use because I just beaded from my bobbin.
I did the same thing.
Exactly. So if you use the little 1G threads versus the big spools, you always want to pre-stretch the thread because it's been wound so tight on these tiny little bobbins. It'll be really curly like this. So just pre-stretch your thread when it comes on a tiny little bobbin, and it'll move all those kinks. But when it's on a bigger spool, it doesn't have so much tension, so you don't need to do that. So once again, if you then made the whole long bracelet necklace with all your little diamonds, usually I do at least one square at the end of regular right angle weave with just your eights, just so you have some flexibility and movement next to the clasp. And then if you're going to bead in the clasp, all we have to do is we come out of this 8 right here, use one little demi, go through the part of the clasp, one little demi, and then, whoops, I forgot the side 8. Golly jeepers, there's 4 directions, right?
So you
In a cube,
usually,
usually. Okay, so are you adding a clasp?
well, I'm gonna add the 4 beads for class.
Okay, add the 4 beads for the clasp. Okay.
Like this.
With
Okay.
one little demi in between, right?
Oh, no, I just did 4 eighths.
Well, you could just do the 4/8. Either way, just as long as it's one little thing so that you can, like I said, have some movement right before your class.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 4 in a row.
So if you're beading on one of those clasps, that's all I did. I added that clasp is technically added just like one of the beads.
Okay,
Exactly like one of the
pretend.
beads. So you're gonna pretend.
so I added 4
Yeah,
eighths. Because that gives me room to add it.
Yeah.
anything I want.
because then you just pass through that clasp all again and everything, all those 4 beads. So now you've just beaded that clasp right on there. That's what's so neat about these Symbols Gem Duo clasps. And you just treat the clasp just like a bead. Or you could put on your jump ring, you could put on, like I said, the demi 8s and 6s are so big, you can usually add your jump rings right to it. So after you've added your last little 4 bead, then you want to go pass up through your first diamond. So pass through the little 11 before the diamond
Mhm.
and the bottom hole of the diamond.
Okay.
Okay,
In the bottom hole?
the bottom
Just
hole of the diamond,
closest- the closest one.
the closest hole, the one that's part of the first 4 bead. And I'm going to rethread my needle while you guys do that. Because I keep pulling my needle, or thread out of my needle.
Because you have to hold on to it.
You have to have, yeah, the right size tail enough to hold.
Do it with your baby feet.
That's a good way of doing it. Okay, so you went through the lowest hole of that end diamond.
Yep.
Okay, and now pass up or jump through the open hole on the top.
Okay.
So this top, I'm trying to turn it so you see it. So jump to the open hole and go the other direction.
So toward the 4 you just
Towards the
added.
class, towards
Got
the outside. Yep. That direction. Add your stopper bead. Add a little 11 demi.
Should I do the same color?
That's your decision. All I get to decide is that it's a size 11 demi. It's a
And then
stopper bead.
And then it's gonna go. back.
Turn around and go right back the same way you just came. So it's just a stopper bead at the top
Oh.
edge of that diamond. That's it. That's all it
I
is.
thought it was gonna be part of that.
The next one is,
Okay.
this one is an outside stopper bead because you got to get to the upper level somehow.
Ooh.
And it just looks like a little rivet right on the end of that diamond.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're gonna add 111 demi and then pick up a gem duo. So depending on where you're at, which direction you're going, I'm going through the left hole of my gem duo because
You want the little pointy top. up.
the pointy top up.
And you want the other pointy out.
Right, so then you add, go through that part of your gem duo.
Whoops, I need another bead.
And then one more little 11 demi. That way you have a little 11 demi in between the diamond and the gem duo on each side of it.
Got it.
And you're gonna do that all the way down your bracelet in between the diamonds. So if you did diamond, 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 then that's what you're gonna do all the way down. You add an 11 and then a gem duo.
What if you're not gonna do diamond, diamond?
Well, if you left an open space,
How
you
would
just
do that?
pass to the next diamond and then do a stopper bead. And then turn around and go back. And then jump back down
Oh, and go back. Okay,
and go across and go
Okay.
back up.
okay.
Yeah. So it's the same way we did it to get up there. You just go back down, go to the other side, go back up. But yeah, so we're gonna go all the way down, filling in between. And then you come back the other side to connect it.
Got it.
Let's see. Because this is your top. Because you're going down the right side, yep. So then you'll just continue. Add a diamond and make sure, because yeah, you're on the right. So go through the right hole of every gem duo. And so add a little demi, a gem duo, a little demi, and then you go through the next one. Yeah. And you go all the way down. Does anybody have any other questions?
No, and falling out.
I know. So that way on each side, you have just your little stopper bead. And there you go. And so it's just so much fun and excitement. So that way you can have a whole bracelet. Or you could have a ring. And I think it's a load of fun.
I think it's a blast.
Yeah,
I think this has some bling potential.
it does. It has a lot of bling potential. And so don't worry, because your things will flip to one side as you work. But before you connect them on the other side, you'll just flip them into place and then they'll set. So I just wish you guys happy beading. And if you have any questions, you just let us know. And I'm always here at Bobby Bead. And the pattern also is on Bobby Bead. It's a free pattern to download. And we have all the gem duos and we have the diamonds and we have the demis. The demis are on sale all week long through Sunday. They're 40% off of retail and 20% off of wholesale. All the little demis this week are on sale.
The demis are so cute.
I know, I just love demi beads and so they're a lot of fun, and the diamonds. So if there's any colors you want us to get in the check beads, you just let me know and I'll order more. And I can't wait to go home and play now and finish all my little projects that we started in class. And so thank you so much for joining us. And I would like to just once again thank Tia Pearson for joining us and Hannah Rosner for joining us. And then we've also got our next beading our member meeting on Monday the 6th. So if you're not a member, you can join. And otherwise, look for your next big thing. Wave at the camera, Tia. Oh, you're over there. Oh, we turned it.
And if you guys have any questions on the projects that I did, please feel free to reach out to customer service at goodybeads.com because that's me.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Let's Bead Live. And